I mentioned before we started talking, I don't know if this is the biggest surprise of the year, but for me, as a Maple Leafs fan, this is a big surprise for me, and it's a positive one. So it's a player on the back end. He shoots right, and he's a new Maple Leaf. And you're shaking your head. You know who I'm talking about. It's Conor Timmins.
Yep.
This has been a great surprise for the Maple Leafs. I think he has played his way into this lineup as a full-time NHLer. I think the only problem for Timmins on the back end in Toronto is that there are 6 other guys who are pretty good as well in the lineup when everybody's healthy. So for Timmins, I think he's earned a spot as a full-time NHLer. Even if that's the 6th or 7th defenseman. And it's been a great surprise. He has 10 points in 12 games with the Maple Leafs. Prior to coming to Toronto, he had just 7 points in 41 games, stretched across 2.5 seasons. So it's been incredible. The offensive production from Timmins, which has been a massive surprise from me, because when we acquired the guy, I didn't know what to expect. I don't think any Maple Leafs fan knew what to expect. He had been hurt. He had been, kind of buried in the minors for a bit. He was a high pick, but it didn't really seem like things were going well. And then all of a sudden, this guy just can't stop getting assists, and he scored his first goal the other night. And it's just been such a refreshing surprise for the Maple Leafs, who at times this season have been using their 10th and 11th best defensemen. So that's been incredible for me to watch. And like I mentioned, when everybody's healthy, I legitimately don't know who the Leafs should scratch on the right side, or even on the left side for that for that reason, if you think that that's the way to go. But I think Timmins has played his way into this NHL lineup, and I don't think he's going anywhere for a long time. I think he really fits.
I absolutely agree with you. And if you can remember when they made this deal, I was like, this is a good one for the Maple Leafs. I like Conor Timmins a lot. By the way, fun fact about him, one green eye, one brown eye, which is kind of interesting.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but look, this guy was a very good player in college. He was a late first round pick of the Colorado Avalanche, and I know that he was a big part of that Darcy Kemper trade with the Arizona Coyotes. They really wanted him. They really liked him, and I think that the injury bug and the numbers game when it came to defensemen in Arizona kind of hurt him a little bit. So he gets a fresh start. He goes to a contending team. Obviously, there's the Dubas Keefe connection with him, with the Sioux Greyhounds. He's big. He's gotten some power play time, and this kid just needed a chance to play and needed a chance to get healthy again and really show what he can do. And he's still young, and, it's not like he has a big number attached to him as well. So, again, it's like when we were talking about the goaltenders, UPL and Kochetkov. If somebody is playing well in your lineup, why change that? Why take them out? Why send them down? Whatever. So I absolutely agree with you that Conor Timmins has been a great fit on that blue line. He's given them a boost, and don't take him out of the lineup.
Yeah, and they did take him out of the lineup the other night, and because everybody was healthy, they were running Riley Brody, Geo Hall, Sandine Liljegren. Riley Brody has been a stable pairing for the last 2 years now, and you don't need to change that. You know exactly what that is. Geo Hall has been really good defensively, especially when there were a ton of injuries earlier in the year. That pairing had to step up as the Leafs' number 1 pairing, eat a lot of tough minutes, kill penalties. So that pairing's been really good as well. And then Sandine Liljegren, 2 younger guys playing third pair minutes against lesser competition, have been dominating the expected goals and the Corsi and the chances, and they've been having really good showings. So it's like, who do you take out of the lineup, to insert Conor Timmins? Well, the other night, Brody on the second half of back to back. The Leafs wanted to rest him and get him some extra time because he is coming off of an injury. And, you want to make sure that your best players are feeling their best when they're playing. So Brody comes out of the lineup. Conor Timmins goes in after being a healthy scratch for a couple games in a row, scores his first NHL goal, and picks up a helper as well. So, you don't expect a player like Timmins on the Leafs who might play 12 to 15 minutes a night to kind of carry the offense from the back end, but he is making it really difficult on Sheldon Keefe to scratch him over some other guys on the team. Like it's a good problem that the Leafs have right now, having Timmins as their sixth or seventh best defenseman when everybody's healthy, and he's fit in really, really nicely. And I will say too, despite the fact that he's been producing offensively, I don't expect that to keep up. That's not the reason I like Conor Timmins so much. I like him because he's been okay defensively. I haven't noticed many glaring issues. I'd have to look at his underlying numbers to confirm that eye test. But also, I've really noticed that he makes a good, composed, and responsible first pass out of the zone. That's something that he does really well, and it's been refreshing because, there have been a lot of players on the back end in Toronto who have, not had that kind of poise, to say the least, dating years back. So he's been a great fit. I'm high on the player, and I've liked what he's done in Toronto so far. What I will say is that despite the fact that I like him, I'm not calling for Morgan Rielly's head, like some other Leaf fans have been. Don't need to trade the guy. Having both is great. And Conor Timmins is not Morgan Rielly, so make sure you check yourself before you say that. But I've loved the player for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I am a big fan of Conor Timmins as well. This is a great surprise that you've picked. It's a great problem for the Leafs, as you mentioned, and I think it takes some of that pressure off of Kyle Dubas to go out and get another defenseman at the trade deadline. They found this guy on a reasonable number, and he's young, and they know him and everything, and he's played really well. So that's another big thing, I think, for your Leafs.